and it's going to talk about things he believed in and treating people equally. So go ahead and open up the first page.
In the front picture, he's going like this. I'm sad he died. Yeah, he wouldn't still be alive though. He'd be dead. And that's if he was
Look at your contents page.
Oh.
Contents page, ladies. We have what is racism, slavery, segregation, freedom fighters, a leader lives on, Martin Luther King Day, and a lasting legacy. One at a time, we're going to start with Silas. Tell me what you know already about some of this. Starting with Silas. Do you know anything about this?
He wanted to change the world to make the world better, to not separate everybody.
Okay. What do you got, Bristol?
He wanted everyone to go to the same school, not have them separated.
Okay.
That's what
Girls?
Like what I know about it.
Yeah, like what do you know about
I
this
know
already?
that he got stabbed in the chest with a nail thing.
Okay. Like just look at
I
these
know that
contents.
he made a speech and it was I had a dream with the speech.
That'll be in here, yes.
The
Haley?
he got shot out of
Okay. Rachel, what do you know?
Well, got shot at the hotel.
Do you know anything about Martin Luther or slavery or
Yeah.
anything?
I know that Martin Luther King Jr. wanted everybody to be equal and not like the white people. Like people saying the white people are better and the black people are not.
Mm-hmm.
I have another thing.
Yes.
Martin Luther King got assassinated and died in a hotel in the balcony. And that shot him.
Well, maybe that's in this book. Open up to page 4. Alright, I'm going to start us off and then we're going to go this way. We're going to go Silas, Bristol around. So it says, what is racism? Imagine not being able to drink from a water fountain because of your skin color. Picture having to enter or exit buildings through a separate door because of what you look like. These situations are forms of racism. Racism is a type of discrimination. It happens when people believe they are better than others because of their skin color. Racism takes many forms and it exists all over the world.
Racism has existed in the United States for hundreds of years, but from 1955 to 1968, one man fought so hard against racism that we still celebrate him today. Martin Luther King Jr. Day honors the actions and words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. In this book, you will learn who Dr. King was and why he had a special day named after him.
What's this down here?
I have a dream.
This is what she was talking about. So we'll learn about that more. You want to flip your page? And Bristol, continue.
Slavery in the United States. A few hundred years ago, Europeans started coming to the Americas because they created colonies and settlements. Some started large farms called
Plantations.
plantations. These farms needed many work. Dark-skinned people did not have the same rights as white-skinned people. White-skinned people captured millions of African American people. The Africans were taken to different places, including the United States and Canada. There they were sold and enslaved. Ships such as the one shown here took the captured Africans to another country. The Africans were forced to stay below deck during these
Wages. Hold on. Okay, colonies. Back in maybe around November, didn't you guys learn about colonies? Who? I'm looking for a P word. Nope. Think of people with colonies. Pilgrims. Yes. So that would be the pilgrims. All right, go ahead. On enslaved.
So people like bought slaves.
someone would sell them, and you really didn't have a choice.
Yes, she was
I read
right.
a book on, so this guy, he was at work, his family got sold.
Yes. So people can buy slaves.
It's called boxing or something.
That was back in the day, yes. Go ahead and continue there.
Enslaved people in the United States were often forced to work on plantations. They also worked in homes or ships. They did not have easy lives. Enslaved people worked very hard. Often they were not treated like human beings. Many died because how they were treated. Some enslaved African people built rivers like Harriet.
Harriet Tubman.
Many others worked on cotton plantations.
So just like she said, the slaves had to work on, they had to work. They forced them to work.
Wait.
We got stuck in the train track and then thinking.
Well, I hope not. Continue us on page 8.
Finally, the laws in the United States began to change in 1863. President Abraham Lincoln, that's where he came in. He's important.
This is where he comes in. He is important.
Issued in the
Emancipation. Yep.
Proclamation.
Very nice.
It helped to free enslaved people in certain states. However, it did not end slavery. But in 1865, the 13th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution was passed. This amendment legally put an end to slavery in America. Did you know today many people celebrate Juneteenth or Freedom Day on June 19th? On that day, in 1865, enslaved people in Texas were told they were free.
So why is he important? Why is President Abraham Lincoln important?
Freed everybody.
Yes, he issued the Emancipation Proclamation, and it helped to free slaves.
Why
Go ahead, Haley. Page 9.
Juneteenth.
Juneteenth. I don't have a calendar on me. I'll show you.
Oh, you had a good
It
calendar.
says June 10th. but
Nope.
no.
So Juneteenth
Is it like the
is
teens, like 13,
Nope.
14?
Juneteenth. June 19th. So June 19th. And most calendars say it on Juneteenth. It's
the day of my birthday.
it's officially a holiday. Okay, Haley, page 9.
This is not the end of the story. However, even after slavery had become illegal in the United States, life for African American people was still very hard. Many people still had racist beliefs. These beliefs caused them to discriminate against African Americans in different ways. Black people did not have the same rights or privileges as white people. The treatment lasted for decades. Even African American soldiers faced discrimination. This photo shows black soldiers who had to dig graves. That'd be creepy.
So do you think they made white soldiers dig graves?
No.
No.
I would've.
They did black because
Yeah,
that's
they did.
how they were.
I hope.
Okay, flip the page. I want Rachel to read 10 for me.
In some parts of the United States, there was a set of laws called Jim Crow laws. These laws encouraged segregation. For example, black children were not allowed to go to school with white children. Black people were told to step out of the way for white people on sidewalks. These were laws about restaurants, buses, toilet facilities, parks, and hospitals. There was even a law that said black people could not play checkers with white people. Even movie theaters were affected by the segregation.
Okay, I'm gonna read 11, and then we're gonna do a cause and effect here. Question.
I have a question. If they couldn't play chess, how come so the black people should be like the black, and then the white people should be the white? Oh yeah.
I get what you're
I
saying.
have a question. I have something to say. Oh, it's not a question. In pre-K, Miss McClintock said, "Do you know why people were separated?" And the fourth person raised their hand and said, "Because they're clothes." And we went on and went on and went on.
Could be.
All the way to hair and shoes.
we'd have staples
We never got skin.
Alright, focus. Let's do page 11. Jim Crow laws have made life very hard for African Americans in the United States, but black people knew they deserved to have equal rights. The 14th Amendment of 1868 had made them full citizens of the United States. They did not deserve to be treated differently from white people. Over the next several decades, African Americans fought to be treated equally. I'm going to skip that did you know. However, go to your cause and effect page. I have a pencil for all of you. You have a pencil? Here's your pencil, Rachel.
Thank you. Ooh, shiny.
Look at my shiny.
So, what we just read, what is something, what's a cause here? Page 10 and 11. What's an event or situation that we're facing?
Black people weren't allowed to vote.
Okay, look at your title. Segregation. So, people protest against segregated schools. What's protesting? You know, people that have those signs up and you protest.
Yeah, we were protesting in my private server.
Yes.
We want rights.
So, for your
People
first
are
cause,
protesting in my game.
you're going to put segregated schools. You too, Silas. Hold on.
I don't think I spelled that right. Do this, but instead of sharing,
Yes.
do you.
So segregated schools should go in your first cause.
And this one for the cause.
Mm-hmm.
What did we put on two?
Nothing. Just look at one. Because we have 3 here. We have 3 cause and effect, so I just have 3. But this is our first one. Segregated schools.
Can I tell you something?
No. Hold on. Let's focus on this.
Okay.
Okay, you guys got that? Now what's the effect?
Lincoln changed it.
So I'm not looking for a person. I'm looking more for, let's see where I can find it. Page, oh, it's on the top of page 10 and it's on the top of page 11. I'm looking for 3 words. Bristol. The Jim Crow laws. So that was a new law that did what?
Changed
That encouraged segregation.
Yes.
I'm reading fast. I couldn't understand.
It's okay. So the effect was you could write Jim Crow laws, or you could put a new law, encourage segregation. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna do Jim Crow laws, and it's right there in your book, so you know how to spell it. Oh goodness, I need to be in purple.
What if segregation comes back?
Well,
What will happen?
we're hoping it won't, because it is part of the U.S. Constitution now. That's why the amendments are passed. And typically, now that the amendments are there, they can't go back on them.
Yeah,
Jim
but what
Crow
if Trump
laws.
said yes? Trump won't say yes.
Wait, what? Trump won't say what?
Yes.
Focus on this. Jim Crow laws. So you got Jim Crow laws, and then do you have, yes, encourage segregation. Do you have that too?
I don't ever speak.
You can write small.
Why would he encourage segregation?
It is right there in
Why
your
do we
book.
have to write everything?
Hmm?
Do we
Jim-
have to write the whole entire
So he
thing?
wanted segregation to come?
So right,
Jim
encourage
Crow.
segregation. You can just write it like down here somewhere.
Like,
And it's right here, encourage segregation.
I have a question.
Yes.
How does this box say freedom registration file now? File 2?
Let me see. Freedom registration file 2. Well, let's read the did you know. It says, in 1870, African Americans were given the right to vote, but for almost 100 years, several states stopped black people from voting. Aaron Henry, shown here, was the civil rights leader who was focused on this issue. So for about 100 years, some states stopped black people from voting.
So silly. Why would they do that? What's that last word
That was-
like, dear?
That was how it was back in the day. Segregation, which is also right here. What's that right
Even
there?
up there.
Alright, put your cause and effect to the side for a minute.
Who came up with segregation?
Let's go back to our
Whose
book
silly idea was it to keep skin colors equal?
and go to page 12, please.
What if you're in the middle? What if you're just tan?
You can have it, sorry.
What if you're just extra tan?
Can you go to page 12, please?
I'll read it.
I want Silas to read 12.
Can you read that to me?
Yep, and then we're gonna have another cause and effect. So pay attention and see while Silas and Bristol are reading if you can think of what our cause and effect is gonna be on these pages. Go ahead, Silas.
Freedom fighters. During the 1950s and 1960s, many black people and white people joined together to fight racism and equality. They were called activists. One of those activists was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He was born on January 15, 1929 in Atlanta, Georgia. Growing up, Dr. King experienced many of the effects of racism. He became a minister and eventually a leader in the American Civil Rights Movement. Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr. and other leaders marched in Washington, D.C. in August 1963.
Dr. King encouraged activism
Activities.
to send their message in non-violent ways. However, there was a lot of violence during this time. Many African Americans were arrested. Some of them were murdered. That's bad.
It's cruel.
Did they go in jail? Activism,
Uh-huh.
boycott. People protested by refusing to buy or use services such as the bus. Like those cars. And people also went to places where they were not welcome, such as restaurants. They were peaceful. They sat there peacefully and refused to leave. Marches. People gathered and walked down public streets. They gave speeches and sometimes carried signs. Legal action. People use this legal system to challenge racist laws and practices.
Yes.
Did they go to jail for women? Did they go to jail for it?
Well, I would sure hope so.
They didn't. Wait, they didn't. I know
So-
what they wanted. A black person. What if the white people, like, they don't get arrested because they think it's right?
She has a point. We don't know that. What if the black people got arrested,
I'll have to
but the
look
white
up.
people didn't?
No.
But it was the same crime.
But what if
No.
the black people murdered the white people, but then the black people got arrested and the white people didn't?
Good
Wait, what
question.
if the white
Oh.
people got
All right,
arrested?
go back to your cause and effect.
Tell me about it.
Dr. Martin Luther King, what is one big thing that he faces? What's a
Segregation.
challenge that he faces?
Segregation.
Nope.
People fighting.
I want to begins with an R.
Murder. No. Rights.
What's the? Go back to page
Racist.
4.
Racist.
Racism.
Yeah.
Racism.
I like racist. I put
So you could put MLK for Martin Luther King, and we'll do racism. So you could have something like that, Martin Luther King and racism.
I don't know how to spell
So
racism.
this MLK.
Mhm.
How do you spell racism?
It's right up here.
What is it?
Now, if you go back to flip your page back, Silas. Page 12. What did he do to fight racism? 2 things he did to fight racism.
Give speeches.
Nope, no one looked one.
Not there.
There's 2 specific words.
A boycott.
Look at the
He
last
became a
sentence.
minister and a leader.
Yes.
Right moment.
What he just said, very last sentence. He became a minister and eventually a leader in the American Civil Rights movement. So that's what he did.
So he became a leader.
Yeah. So you could put and minister. You need minister and leader.
Wait, why are you thinking?
Oh, thank you. I keep getting confused. Minister.
He became. And maybe he
How do you spell minister?
Is it like this? It's in the book. Like a special spot for the king's market, and then put a special spot for the purple market.
It's okay. So minister and leader. That's what you should have.
Do these have to
But
be
he became a
sentences?
minister
No.
and a
I said a letter.
This is just making sure that you get the idea of cause and effect.
Oh.
When you get that, we're gonna move to 14.
And I can read it, and it's big.
Find me get a big one.
All right. Are you done? Go ahead and start reading page 14 for me.
The American Civil Rights Movement helped change how African American people were treated. For example, in 1954, a new law declared that segregation in public schools went against the U.S. Constitution. The following year, Dr. King helped to lead Montgomery bus boycott. The boycott was started in reaction to the arrest of an African American woman named Rosa Parks. Parks was arrested. I can't say it. Parks was arrested because she refused to give up her seat to a white passenger on a bus in Montgomery, Alabama. Many black people joined the boycott and refused to ride the segregation public buses in Montgomery. By the end, more than 40,000 black people had joined. The efforts were met with opposition. Dr. King's home was even bombed, but the boycott gained national attention. It ended when the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that segregation on public buses was not allowed. The bus boycott lasted from December 5th, 1955 to December 20th, 1956.
Okay. We have one huge cause right here. What is it?
The buses.
What about the buses?
They were separated. And unfair.
Segregation with the buses.
Yes.
Bus drama.
So people. Okay, we'll put.
Can we put bus drama?
No.
Bus.
I'm gonna put boycott because that was a word they used.
Bus boycott. They actually put
Boycott. One second, Rachel. Boycott the bus. And then I'll put segregated seating.
I thought it was that Rosa Parks was supposed to go in the back of the bus and stand, but she chose to sit in her seat to make a statement.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Haley.
I remember last year reading about the white woman who wouldn't give up the seat. Wait, no, the black woman wouldn't give up the seat for the white woman, and she went to jail for it.
Yes.
Why?
that too.
Why?
Okay, what is our effect? What's our result? What came about this? I'm gonna give you a hint. It has to do something with this U.S. Supreme Court. Look in your text.
Can I have you see now?
Oh, hold on. mentions. We're gonna do this.
The segregation on public buses was not allowed.
Yes. So U.S. Supreme Court rules that segregation on public buses isn't allowed.
What do we write?
You'll find out later.
What do we write?
So we are going to condense that, and we are going to do segregation on buses isn't allowed. Yes. What is it about, Rachel?
I read this book on Storyline Online, and it was a book called As Fast as Buzz Could Fly.
Have you watched White Sox Only?
I read that. And it was at the time when Martin Luther King Jr. was alive. And black
Hold on, hands down.
people were eating black
Hands down. Hold on. Make sure you get this. We're gonna start running out of time here soon, so I want to make sure we get all this.
That's a lot of wood.
Yep. You can just sum it up in your own words if you need to. So segregation on public buses isn't
There's
allowed.
also a book called White Sox Only, and it's about a girl who there's a water fountain, and she has a sign that says whites only, and she says, "Oh, I know what that means." She takes off her shoes and has a plain white socks on, drinks from the water fountain.
So what I want to do is we're going to skip page 15.
What is
And
15 about?
15 is just about
The Little Rock.
yeah, the Little Rock 9. We're just gonna skip it for now for time purposes. Yes, I would like to read these 2 pages. This is about his dream. Who's up?
Me.
Okay, page 16.
Dr. King became well known. He traveled across the United States and around the world. He met other leaders. He gave many speeches that encouraged peace and equality. On August 28, 1963, Dr. King gave one of his most famous speeches. He was standing on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., in front of him was a crowd of thousands. Dr. King gave his speech to the people who had joined the march on Washington for jobs of freedom.
Haley, 17.
Dr. King's speech was called I Have a Dream. In his speech, he described a world where all people were treated equally. It was a world where people were not judged by the color of their skin. Dr. King hoped that this world would become real someday. The year after Dr. King gave his speech, the Civil Rights Act was signed. This act made segregation in public places illegal. It also made all discrimination illegal, regardless of whether it was based on race, skin color, religion,
You don't have to say it.
or national origin. President Lyndon B. Johnson signed the 1964 Civil Rights Act, and Martin Luther King Jr. and others looked on.
Okay. He had a speech that was called I Have a Dream. Hold up. Was he sleeping in his nice cozy bed, dreaming in his sleep with a speech?
No.
So what was the I Have a Dream? Haley.
It was just to make white and black. It doesn't matter what your skin color is.
Yes, so
And
he had a
And you
speech.
can drink from the same water fountain.
Yes, he had a speech in front of everyone, and it wasn't just, oh, I went to bed and had a little dream and da 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 da. So he actually this was his dream, was his speech.
And everyone would get treated equally and not be judged by their skin color.
Correct.
Here's the motel.
All right, I'm gonna read these 2 pages. You'll get there, Rachel. It says in April 1968 that Dr. King was in Memphis, Tennessee to support a group of African American workers who were on strike. Let me just learn about that word a little bit ago.
What?
Strike.
Not on strike. On April 4th, this is what you're waiting on, Dr. King was shot while he was on the balcony of his hotel. He died shortly after. People around the world were shocked by the news of Dr. King's death. Riots broke out in many cities, including Chicago, Baltimore, and Washington, D.C. In some cities, the National Guard was called in to help calm things down. Dr. King worked hard to end racism and discrimination in the United States. He was a very important person in the American Civil Rights Movement. This movement helped change the country. Activists wanted to honor Dr. King. Soon after Dr. King's death, they asked politicians to create a national holiday in his name. Do we have a holiday?
Martin Luther King Day.
Thank you. And what month is that in?
January.
We just had it. Almost 20 years later, the first Martin Luther King Day was celebrated. This national holiday takes place on the third Monday in January of every year. Yes, Haley.
I saw this picture and I wondered, didn't they like walk around until like some people were getting like shot and like because they were trying to make it right to like so we could have freedom?
That I don't know.
I think I read it something like that.
That I don't know.
I think it's Black History Month.
Go ahead and go
Yeah,
to,
it's Black History Month.
go ahead and go to page 23. I want Rachel to read page 23.
I didn't mention the crazy person who stabbed him in the chest with a nail thing.
What about 20 and 21?
Nope, we're gonna skip it for now. I want you to read page 23. Follow along page 23.
A last legacy. Martin Luther King Jr. is an inspiration to many people. He worked hard to make a difference in his country. He experienced how racism was affecting communities. He saw how people were being treated unfairly. Dr. King fought hard against racism in America. His efforts helped to make a difference. Laws were changed and African American people were given the rights they deserve. There are many reasons to celebrate the progress that has been made in the struggle for equal rights, but there is still work to do. Are you willing to stand up for others the way Dr. King did? The Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial in Washington, D.C.
Okay. So based on everything we just read, what do you think his legacy is? What do you think Dr. King's legacy is? A lasting legacy. What did he do? Why was he so important?
He stopped segregation.
He stopped segregation. Okay. Question, have any of you seen the movie, first of all, you done that? Have any of you seen the movie Hidden Figures?
No.
Is it
What's
about
that?
My dad.
So it is based, it's a lady that works for NASA, and basically in the movie what happens is she's black.
I want to watch the vlog.
She is black, and she has to go miles away just to go to the bathroom because she can't use the white bathroom that's in there. So, say this bathroom was for blacks only, and our next closest bathroom was 2 miles away, we would have to go use that because we weren't black and we couldn't use that. Yes. So this is like what this is all about. This is how it was back in the day.
I just put on a lot of I wouldn't hide my name. I just go in that bathroom.
What is a couple more things, real quick, a couple more things that we're not gonna write them, but can anyone think of a cause and effect?
They had to go miles. Well, he got killed and got at the
Okay, and the effect, what happened? Why did that happen? The result? Is he dead? Yes. So he's no longer here.
But he did help a lot. He got assassinated.
Okay. Does anybody else have another cause and effect?
I have one.
Okay.
The cause is that he got assassinated. The person who this is my one, is that the person who shot him went in jail. I hope.
Okay, that will work. That will work. Alright, so you guys,
forgot it.
it's okay. So do you guys understand the cause and effect?
Yes.
So what is the cause again? Tell me.
It's what happened. And then an effect.
Girls, are you
is what
listening?
is the result.
What's the cause?
Why did it happen?
And the effect is?
What?
The result. The result. Yes. Alright, we are done. I actually want you guys to keep these.
So you remember what cause and effect are?
Yes, because we will do it later.
I will look and then look up if the people who murdered Black.
I will take your pencils because they are mine.
I like these pencils you have. So remind me of you.
Yeah, you
How
can
long have we
keep
been
it.
live for?
Only
39 minutes. Ooh. My bad.
Okay.